reminds me of something you mentioned last night. And I think I saw it on your page before, but I'm a procrastinator. I meant to look it up, but kept forgetting. You mentioned tell me if I get this right, Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice.
Yes.
And when I read that and I heard that, that really stuck with me because, like, you know, again, if you grew up in church, you know, you're pro-life, but I do feel like at the end of the day, that's the woman's choice. But then I also struggle with, I don't call myself pro either because there's stuff on the pro-life side I don't agree with, there's stuff on the pro-choice side I don't agree with. Like, I feel so. Let me shut up before I start rambling. I always ramble on here, y'all know me. But what drew you to that?
Interestingly enough, I was temping, and the temp agency that I worked for was out between jobs. So the temp agency that I worked for prided itself in making sure that its contractors wound up somewhere where they were happy. That they weren't just putting you somewhere just so they could say, oh, look, we got all these people in jobs and all this other stuff. So when I had that conversation with them, I told them how passionate I was about doing community service and philanthropy, activism, all those different things. So I did a couple like odd jobs, and eventually I did a 3-month temp at this organization. Little did I know they were really like kind of trying to feel me out to see if they were going to make me permanent, which they eventually did. And I didn't even know that, like you said, I didn't know this place existed, and I was like, what? This right. And they're like almost 45 years old, and actually had another. They started as this organization called the Clergy Consultation Service, where before Roe versus Wade was passed, they were fighting for a woman's right to choose, or any person's right to choose their own path and their own autonomy. So I thought that was so cool, and I think that, you know, people constantly like. What the definition of pro-choice has been skewed, that people think that they're trying to like coerce you to go in a certain direction, but that's what it means to be pro-choice. It's like, no, I'm not trying to coerce you to do anything. Like, you do what you want to do, you tell me what you need, and I'm going to do the best that I can to help you get what you need. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love it. I love being a part of that realm, even though it has its drawbacks. Because there's a lot of people who are like self-righteous and they talk the talk real good, but when it comes to how they show up in certain spaces, it's like,
no, you ain't practicing what you're supposed to.
Right. Exactly. I know. That doesn't happen in this community at all.
I almost thought you were being sarcastic for a second.
I was.
Bruh. Yo.
But that's funny because, you know, Talon was saying that last night on the panel, how the geek community is very much a microcosm of what life is like in the real world. And even high school, you know, like life is high school, as they say. Like, high school isn't a phase. It's a microcosm of what you're going to experience when you grow up.
You know, it's funny because like you might joke about somebody being like, "Oh, you're acting like you're still in high school." You're acting like it's life because actually, like you said, high school is almost like we don't know it back then. Right. You know, we were at the end of church one day. We were talking about mental health and therapy, which I was like, because you don't hear that in church at all. And so we were discussing it, talking about it later on, and I made a joke saying, "Oh yeah, high school messed us all up. It's high school's fault." But really, it did, because when you're in high school, you don't know yourself. You with a whole bunch of other people who don't know themselves. Right. So you do something not knowing how harmful that thing is you're doing. And that one harmful thing sticks with that person for the rest of life. So you're doing all these people not knowing themselves, damaging each other, not knowing they're damaging each other. And now they got this other stuff that I'm fortunate to where I've been around people to help me be, well, I'm not going to say I'm the most emotionally mature person ever, but I feel like I've gotten there faster than most. Right. So not everybody has that luxury. It's not anything that I did. Is I happen to be around the right people. Right. Not everybody gets that luxury. Not everybody gets to go back and dig back to those root hurts. Right. So it's like high school did F us up. Yeah. And it manifests a lot in this community. Not even just high school, but problems that you may or may not have dealt with at home. Right. That really sticks with you. You know, and things that you may have dealt with in early childhood, whatever the case may be. But absolutely, there are people who are wearing a lot of
pain on their sleeves,
or
they try not to show it, but it's like it shows up in one way or another. Either you're like either you're like kind of scared of showing up as your full self, or you just turn into this douche, running around being, a douche to everybody. So, that's kind of, it's interesting to see how those things manifest. And like you said, there are certain people who just don't grow out of it. And it's unfortunate, because we have to deal with them.
Right.
But it is what it is. And it's made me appreciate, like you said, being around really good people. Like I know I've been blessed to every person, even the people who turned out to not be so good, they taught me something that I needed to know.
Exactly. That's that cliche that everything happens for a reason. It is one, but it ain't so much one because it's legit.
Right.
So switching gears and rewinding a little bit. So back to the Greekness. You have something coming up soon, don't you?
I do. So, I have a few things that I'm kind of like got my hands on. The main thing, I guess, that I'm really championing is the HBCU Con.
HBCU Con.
So,
what's the website? The social media and all of that?
Instagram.
Just give me everything.
Instagram at HBCU Con. So CON. And then also on Facebook.com/HBCU Con. The website's under construction. Shout out to SF Design because he's just phenomenal. And a Bowie State. He's a Bowie grad. Nice. So it's just I kind of always knew that I kind of conceptualized. I was like, am I gonna have a Greeks and Geeks convention? Because at first that was kind of like where I was leaning towards, but then the more I kind of matriculated through this journey, I was like, HBCU Con. I was like, okay, that's kind of like, I think that I'm onto something here. And the more and more I was like telling people that I trusted about this idea, they really like latched onto it. And it's funny because the more I kind of like showcase it, and we haven't even really done anything aside from a few panels and a photo shoot, but it's picking up so much steam that I'm like, I have to see this through. That's kind of like the main thing that I'm doing. And then also closer to your stomping grounds is in Augusta. I'm doing marketing and communications for Creatives Con. Matter of fact, I got the little flyer here. So yay! Shout out to Julian and Cheyenne and Cameron. They're all great. And so it's a veteran-owned business. The guy running it is active duty Army. So, he's really into gaming and wrestling and all these other things. So you'll see a lot of those elements there, wrestling. So, it's just, it's been a really wild ride. I'm trying to think of if I have my hand in anything else. Well, New Release Wednesday. Shout out to Patrick Michael Strange and the crew. That's our podcast that we do every week.
I know that name. I always forget. Sometimes you can't put names with faces, but I'm like, I know our followers. I'm like, you were good people.
Oh, thank you. But that's kind of like what I'm doing. It's taking up, just HBCU Con alone takes up so much of my time, which is fine because I'm passionate about it. Aside from my full-time job. So just stay tuned, like us, follow us, and we'll have a lot, of good things coming up soon. So, and we want your input. We want to know, like, what do you want to see? Because we're essentially trying to bridge like the homecoming experience with the con experience. And making our own, like this is our university.
Flashbacks.
Right? And and it's interesting because I was just telling somebody that I've had over the past like years since I've gone to HBCU, I've had many people, particularly black people, say, I wish I went to a HBCU. I wish I went to a HBCU. I have never, ever, ever heard anybody who went to a HBCU say, I wish I went to a predominantly white institution. Like we cherish that. That whole experience those 4 short years have totally rocked my world and were so intricate in shaping who I was as a person, or who I am as a person. So I just felt like I needed to take that experience that I had where my geekdom and all these different things that represented who I am became manifested, and I want to take that experience and that affirmation and give it to the world.
Getting into a few fun questions here.
Okay.
All right. If you could take any 90s R&B group and any 90s rap group.
Okay.
In their prime.
Okay.
And make them relevant now. Who you got?
Well, I really miss TLC.
True.
So that's like, I know that a lot of people consider them pop and not R&B. I guess SWV would be another if you want more authentic R&B. I always kind of leaned into those two groups, and then rap group. I love the Arrested Development. Is that too far back?
No, not at all.
But I think that all the stuff that they had, it was catchy, but at the same time, it was so meaningful and so different, and it made them stand out. Yeah. So I guess those are the two. Those are my top two that I would pick.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. If you could take any cosplay that you have and have that character's powers for the rest of indefinitely, who are you picking?
Chun-Li. Without a doubt.
Nice.
Without a doubt. She's the strongest woman in the world. You know what I mean?
There you go. Side question on that was, you said Chun-Li.
Yes.
What's your favorite Chun-Li outfit?
That's a hard one because you mean like the one that she wears
Okay.
I really love her black look. With the black dress.
The one where the quad game is showing.
Yeah, she's got her hair down.
Yeah.
Because I think that's such a different, it's what you wouldn't expect from her.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you wouldn't even recognize her because she doesn't have the signature Odango, if you will. So I really like that look, and I really want to cosplay that one day. But of course I love the red. And I like the Street Fighter Alpha because it's comfortable.
Yeah. So those of y'all that don't know, cosplay and comfortable don't rarely ever coexist.
Exactly.
You're gonna be uncomfortable. And hot.
Yeah. You're doing it for beauty is pain.
Yes. And those poses. I hit a pose the other day. Like the first pose I hit Friday. My hip just recovered from it this morning.
Right.
I didn't even go that deep.
Right.
But I think the saying is, if the pose don't hurt, it ain't good.
That's fair. Right, exactly. And it hits you different when you after 30, you know. Like when I started doing it at 27 or whatever it was, 27, 28.
It's like, let's get in this pose.
Right.
And
right. Give me a minute. I gotta rest my knees.
Wow. I had a question, I lost it. Hold on. So, dream cosplay. If money is not an issue, time is not an issue, skills and resources is not an issue. One cosplay, what is it?
Oh my God, you're killing me here. I gotta really think about that one. Because of course our Storm is so cliche, but I do want to cosplay Storm.
That is such a. We were talking about that at the panel yesterday, right?
Yeah. Right, how it's default for black women.
And I feel so not bad. Okay, there was a purpose for it because I was doing Bishop. So my wife and I cosplayed together. I was like, okay, can you be Bishop? Can you be Storm with me? Yeah, but at the same time, I was like, I get it because I saw someone say once that telling a black woman she should cosplay Storm is not a compliment.
Yeah.
Because to some degree it can be. Right. But it can also be, you're pigeonholing this person. Oh, you're a black woman, do Storm. Right. Yeah, that's all you see. That's it.
I mean, but it goes to show that for a long time that was all we saw. Growing up, that was who I kind of identified with because she was the only black superhero that you saw in beyond the comic books.
Right.
And I thought of who I wanted to do after you just said that. Shuri.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
That's who I would want to do. That's a perfect blend of dope fabrics and patterns, but also with the armor. You got the gauntlets. So definitely Shuri. And plus she's just awesome.
Yeah, she is. All right, so before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to plug? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to
just that I never thought that dressing up in a rinky-dink costume, if you will, would lead up to this moment. I feel so blessed to have been able to meet people like you, and just to see all the different things that you're doing with all your Smoove salsas and all this other stuff. It's just such a beautiful thing. And for someone who studied sociology, it's like people watching Overload. but in a good way.
Right.
And for that, I would just tell people, like, just keep doing what you're doing, because you never know where it'll lead.
Right.
Don't be afraid to be yourself and to be your full self.
Yes.
You know. So yeah.
Wonderful. Y'all, thank y'all for watching again. Thank you guys for sitting here with us. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but it's all gonna be in there. That's it. Y'all have a good day. Have a good time at whatever con you're going to next. Good luck on your cosplay builds. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. Same thing for her. Go find her stuff. It's gonna be in the description. And y'all have a good night. Peace.